Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. I gotta tell you, I am so incredibly excited to share this one with you today. We're going to distill the absolute core, irrefutable rules of wealth creation from reading over 50 of the top investing and personal finance books ever written. We are talking about the real heavy hitters here, the classics, the ones that have literally shaped modern wealth creation. We're cutting through all the online noise to bring you the foundational principles that actually work. Now, you might be wondering, what actually happens when you sit down and read 50 plus finance books? Do they all just repeat the same tired advice to, skip your morning coffee and spend less? Well, honestly, I kind of thought they might. But a really surprising truth emerges when you aggregate all that knowledge across all these brilliant authors. It turns out that money isn't fundamentally a numbers game. It's a thinking game. It's a behavior and decision-making game. And mastering that behavior, that is exactly what separates the people who build lasting wealth from the ones who are constantly struggling. Okay, let's dive right into this. Here is our roadmap for today. We're going to be moving through 6 evolutionary stages, going from basic financial literacy all the way up to complete self-mastery. We've got the foundation of true wealth, escaping the salary trap, scaling with smart systems, the fast lane to wealth, mastering your financial psychology, and finally paying your ignorance debt. All right, stage 1, the foundation of true wealth. Basically, we're redefining the absolute basics of money. To build this foundation, we need a massive mindset shift. This is heavily inspired by the classic book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. We live in a world with intense societal pressure, right? You start doing a bit better in your career, and suddenly there's this invisible rule that says you immediately need to upgrade your lifestyle. You need the brand name clothes, the luxury car, the newest gadgets, just to look like you're doing well. But your goal shouldn't be to look rich. Your true goal should be to become free. And this brilliantly illustrates the difference. It's a concept they surprisingly just don't teach in school. Assets versus liabilities. An asset simply puts money into your pocket. Think stocks, rental properties, or businesses. A liability? That takes money out of your pocket, like those heavy monthly EMIs, luxury upgrades, and unnecessary lifestyle bloat. Real freedom only comes when you aggressively build up the left side of this screen. Moving forward, I want you to start filtering every single financial decision you make with one simple question. Is this putting money in my pocket or is it taking it out? Moving right along to number 2, escaping the salary trap, moving from active effort to actual ownership. Since childhood, most of us are taught a very specific formula for life. Get good grades, get a good job, earn a stable salary, and boom, you have ultimate financial security. But is that really true? Take a look at this cash flow quadrant. It breaks down how money is actually earned in our economy. As an employee or someone who is self-employed, your income is entirely active. You are literally trading your time or your skill for cash. If you stop working, the income stops completely. Now, a high salary is great, don't get me wrong. It builds discipline, gives you great exposure, but its structure is actually pretty fragile. True sleep at night, long-term wealth requires crossing over to the right side of this table, becoming a business owner or an investor. This is where income becomes passive through leverage. You're building systems, you're managing people, and you're allocating capital to do the heavy lifting for you. You absolutely must make the leap from selling your time to owning assets. Which brings us to number 3, scaling with smart systems, and why pure hard work just isn't enough anymore. We hear a lot about the 80-hour hustle culture today, right? People wear exhaustion and burnout almost like a badge of honor. But as the 4-hour workweek points out, pure hard work without any leverage is a trap. Often, all that busy work is real just comfort for our ego. It feels good to say, look how busy I am, look how hard I'm working. But if the value creation stops the second you step away to take a breath, you're just a slave to your own time. Instead, we need to focus on building smart systems. Smart work means building leverage that runs without your constant physical presence. This could mean designing a location-independent business using digital tools, or taking many retirements throughout your life instead of waiting 40 years to finally start living. And hey, this isn't just for entrepreneurs. In your personal finances, setting up automated investments like SIPs, automatic savings transfers, and automated budgeting, these are incredibly powerful systems. They literally protect you from your own emotional spending impulses, and they save your most precious resource, your time. All right, stage 4. The fast lane to wealth, where we start accelerating your financial timeline. Building heavily on this concept of leverage, let's look at some insights from the book, The Millionaire Fast Lane. Now, let's be totally clear up front. There is no such thing as get rich easy. No way. But there is absolutely a way to get rich faster, and it all comes down to the path you choose to walk. You've essentially got 3 paths here. First, the sidewalk. This is marked by weak financial discipline, spending more than you earn, living paycheck to paycheck. Wealth is basically impossible here. Next is the slow lane. This is the traditional advice. Get a job, save slowly, and maybe, just maybe, retire comfortably at 65. It's not wrong, but it is heavily dependent on exchanging your finite time for money. Then there's the fast lane. Here, your entire focus is on scalable systems, creating products, platforms, and assets that offer unlimited growth potential. But remember, fast-lane wealth is the result of years of compounding effort. When you see someone achieve massive wealth, you're usually just seeing the sudden result of years of hidden effort, skill building, and strategic decision-making. Actually, scratch that. It's almost never overnight luck. It's execution. Number 5, mastering your financial psychology. This right here is the ultimate wealth filter. You can have the most perfect scalable systems in the world. You can understand all the math perfectly, but ultimately, money is governed by human psychology. It comes down to your patience, your risk tolerance, and most importantly, your emotional regulation. So the crucial point is right here on the screen. Money is a behavior game, not a numbers game. This brilliantly explains a phenomenon we see all the time in the real world. You can have two people earning the exact same salary, right? Yet they end up with completely different financial destinies. One builds financial stability and peace of mind, while the other is constantly stressed out and drowning in debt. The difference isn't their baseline intelligence, the difference is their habits. It's how they react emotionally when the stock market dips, or how they seek social validation by spending money they don't even have. It is so tempting to look at extraordinary, flashy success stories online and try to copy them step by step. But extreme success almost always involves a heavy dose of statistical luck, and you cannot simply copy luck. Instead, focus on patterns, not people. Repeatable behaviors build wealth. I urge you to ignore the flashy outliers and adopt the boring but absolutely bulletproof patterns, living below your means, staying consistently invested for the long term, and just avoiding catastrophic mistakes. Let the proven patterns do the heavy lifting for your portfolio. And finally, number 6, paying your ignorance debt, bridging that final gap to success. To understand the invisible barrier holding people back, a really cool concept championed by entrepreneur Alex Hormozi, I want to pose this question directly to you. Why do incredibly smart people lose money? We see this cycle repeat constantly, especially in the investing world. Beginners enter during a bull market, they see a little initial success, and they get wildly overconfident. Then, inevitably, the market dips. They panic, they sell at a massive loss out of pure fear, and then they blame the entire system, calling the stock market a total scam. But the problem wasn't the market at all. The problem was a fundamental lack of knowledge. That knowledge gap is literally called ignorance debt. It is the space between your current capability and the next level of results you want. And you have to pay off this debt. How do you do that? Not with money, but through acquiring practical knowledge and then actually executing on it. If you want next level results, you must invest in your fundamentals. You have to understand your risks, you have to heavily educate yourself, and you have to translate that theory into real-world action. You've got to put the reps in to become smarter. As we wrap up this explainer today, I want to leave you looking inward. Based on everything we've pulled from these 50 masterclasses in wealth, ask yourself this one vital question. Are your daily decisions building a system of freedom, or are you slowly building yourself a cage of liabilities? Think deeply about your patterns, your systems, and your psychology. The choices you make today are going to dictate exactly which side of that cash flow quadrant you'll be living on tomorrow. Thanks so much for diving into this incredibly important topic with me, and I'll catch you on the next explainer.